Oh, I thought, no, they are showing the video first, right? It's okay, okay.
The President of the National House of Chiefs, the Vice President, and distinguished members of the National House of Chiefs, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Senior Advisor to the President, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and Member of Parliament for Damango, the Minister for Local Government, Decentralization, and Rural Development and Member of Parliament for Okre, the Metropolitan Chief Executive for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, members of the media. The President of the House, when I was greeting him, told me he thought that I would be in Kente to come and address the National House of Chiefs today. But I told him there was no Kente of mine that could match up to the Kente of the members of the National House. So I thought it would be safer to be in a suit.
Before you leave.
I'm grateful to the President of the National House of Chiefs, the forward-thinking Manhyia of Sefianriaso, Ojiahoho Yaojebi II, for so readily agreeing to my respectful request to meet with you this morning. And I'm further grateful that at such relatively short notice, so many of you, our distinguished traditional rulers from the various parts of our nation, have found it possible to be here this morning to meet with you, to meet with me. I asked for this meeting because I want to speak to you about a matter of great national importance, and that is this vexed issue of Galamsey. The President and members of the National House of Chiefs, you have been for centuries the custodians and owners of the lands of our nation. Today, between you and I, as the President of the Republic, we are responsible for the management of all lands in Ghana. Indeed, 80% of the lands in this country continue to be under your custody, much of it having been acquired through the blood and sacrifices of your ancestors. The remainder of 20%, which I hold in trust for the people of Ghana, derives from state acquisition from you. What this means is that ultimately, the welfare of the state of the lands is our joint responsibility. Although by statute, the minerals in the soil belong to the President in trust for the people. Historically, we discharge that responsibility well. Even though for centuries we have been a mining nation, mining did not pose a threat to the health of our environment and water bodies. The rules that you put in place for mining ensure that the sanctity of our lands remained intact and our water bodies remained unpolluted. Tragically, in the modern era, that is no longer the case. And that is why I've come to you today to talk about how together we can repair this dramatic situation. Since I took office on 7th January 2017, nearly 6 years ago, I have made it a central feature of my presidency to lead in the efforts to rid our country of this madness, which we all now call Galamsey. Indeed, it was an important aspect of my inaugural address of that day. It has not been easy, it has not been popular, and we have not got the immediate results that I was looking for. Indeed, in the last elections of 2020, my stance on the issue cost my party and I significant losses in the mining communities. It turned out that my statement that I was putting my presidency on the line in the fight against Galamsey was neither bombast nor recklessness. It was the simple truth. We have tried many initiatives, including that of the community mining scheme and the establishment of a new legal regime for dealing with the perpetrators of this phenomenon, which has imposed severe sanctions on those Ghanaians and foreigners convicted of illegal mining. Still, we have not won the fight. It is obvious that if we are to win the fight, we have to take the lead to collaborate closely to do so. And that is why I'm here today. After our meeting, I'll also be meeting with the other half of local government, the metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives in the 90 metropolitan, municipal, and district areas across the country where mining activities take place, to seek their active collaboration too. There are many requests I intend to make of you in the closed-door session of our meeting. But one of the most significant, which I have to state now, is to seek your assistance to take partisan political interests out of the fight against Galamsey. It can only succeed if it is a truly national battle, which no one seeks to exploit for political gain, as we saw in the last election. The progress of our country depends on all of us, all citizens of Ghana, all fellow Ghanaians, pulling together to defeat this existential threat to our future. I've said it before, we are not against mining, but we cannot accept mining in a manner that risks destroying our country. Our nation has always been a mining nation. Indeed, in the 15th century, when the first Europeans, the Portuguese, came to our shores, they called the first European-influenced town Elmina, meaning the mine in Portuguese, because from the ships, as they approached our shores, that is the activity they saw our people engaged in. It is not surprising that in colonial times we were called the Gold Coast. I ask all of you to join hands with me in the fight against illegal mining in order to bring an end to the devastation of our landscape and the pollution of our water bodies. We have to win that fight to keep our environment clean and protect our heritage for our descendants, as you did so well in the past. I'd like, therefore, to conclude these introductory remarks and ask the media to excuse us, to play you a short video to indicate the nature of the problem.
After the video.
This is the state of our land and water bodies. Our environment. We did this. Decades of impunity and disregard for the law have resulted in this. The war against illegal mining has been fought and lost since the 1970s. And we all must take the fall for it. As a people, our lack of collective commitment has been a bane to the fight against illegal mining. For decades, successive governments' efforts have been thwarted by the very people expected to be at the forefront of the fight. The destruction to our water bodies and degradation of our land did not start today or recent years. Galamsey has remained prevalent, with efforts devoted to countering the practice hampered by several key factors. River and Cobra, Brim, Offing, Bia, Bonsa, Tunnel, hitherto surrounded by green and rich forest, flowed clean and pure. It was the pride of the people who lived on water from these sources. All the crops, water bodies, and precious minerals in our land stayed peacefully together in a delicate balance. But today, the collective pride and dignity can no more be boasted of. The rich farmlands and clean water bodies have largely been destroyed. Illegal gold mining devastates the environment, causing deforestation, biodiversity, and habitat loss, as well as water, air, and soil pollution through the release of toxic chemicals. A habit that successive national leaderships have cautioned, impressed upon, and fought to stop the few out of the larger population for the good of us all now. Our children and their children's children have yielded little. For decades, a section of us have continuously participated in the degradation of the land we all depend on and will depend on for a lifetime. The ongoing prevalence of Galamsey could threaten Ghana's agricultural production, increase the risk of social unrest, and heighten the potential for ethnic tensions between the influx of Chinese workers into Ghana and the local populace. We may sit in our homes thinking this does not affect us, our family, or immediate environment. What we may not know is that the activities of a few illegal miners in the Etiwa forest or along the banks of the Brim River expose all of us to serious health and environmental risks. So, it is on us, the politicians, traditional authorities, religious leaders, business leaders, and citizens who have aided or guarded the vices of Galamsey through decades to end it all and restore hope for future generations and dignity for this generation. The effects of Galamsey go beyond deforestation and water pollution.
All of you can see the level of devastation. It should baffle all of us as policymakers and as stakeholders in this fight, how an operation like this in the heart of the forest and in the faraway areas of our country can go on without notice by police, the chiefs, the local political leadership, assembly people, the district chief executive, for example, and I should dare say even the inspectorate division of the Minerals Commission here. The point we keep making about the fight against illegal mining being a collective one, I think this is a classic evidence of that call that it will require the concerted effort of all of us. It cannot be the fight for government alone or for ministers alone. It has to be the fight for all of us, citizens and all the actors in the body politic of Ghana.
The situation is dire, and if we continue to look on as a people, one day, with no water to drink, no land to farm, and no natural resources to boast of. It is time to come together in loyalty to our motherland, Ghana, devoid of political, religious, and tribal affiliations, to fight this canker.
We cannot look on as our very existence as a country is put in jeopardy and our water bodies, forests, and landmass are destroyed. Even with the ban, it has been a never-ending battle with the Galamsey.
Collective action is required. Stop Galamsey. Let's save our environment. And water bodies. Our environment. We did this. Decades of impunity and disregard for the law have resulted in this. The war against illegal mining has been fought and lost since the 1970s.
Nana President and members of the National House of Fees, I thank you for your attention. And I'll ask the media at this stage to excuse us as we go into closed session. Thank you.
Press, but no, please wait. We have a small presentation to make. His Excellency made a comment. When he came, I was expecting him to wear cloth. For your hine, for your dish here, no urban and no higher. That was what I was expecting. It doesn't mean he doesn't have the cloth, but now that he's